I'm here with Maya, and we are talking about her F1 Academy race at her home race here in Zandvoort. Maya, thank you so much for taking time to hang out.
Hi, thank you for coming around so far.
Of course, I know. Yes, it's a lot of flights, but it's worth it. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, this is your home race. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, super excited, of course. Zandvoort home race. It's always cool to have the family, to have all the fans, and I love the track, so I'm really looking forward to it.
The racing here is great. If you want to talk a little bit about the intensity of that.
Yeah, as you said, the racing is great, but especially qualifying here is always exciting. It's really a qualifying track. It's tricky to overtake. With the rain, it makes it all a bit more exciting. But yeah, qualifying will be so important around here, and I'm just really looking forward to jump back after the summer break.
Do you have a first memory of wanting to be a race car driver?
I mean, I remember the first time I've been in a kart, in a go-kart. I was 7 years old when I started karting, and it was actually, I used to go with my dad to the kart track because he was going for fun in the weekends and so on with his friends, and me and my brother loved it, of course, so we were asking all the time, and in the end, when I was 7, we got a kart for Christmas, me and my brother.
Nice.
And yeah, of course, that first memory in a car is just always gonna stay there. And my brother didn't like it so much, so he stopped quite soon. But I loved it, so yeah, here we are.
Do you remember like a moment where you decided this is what I want to do? Like you obviously remember the first time being in a cart, but then now you're very far past that. You're really moving.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know which was one moment. I mean, when you're starting, you're doing it for fun. You're having fun at the track. You're going the weekends every day after school, or as much as possible, of course. And I think once I got into racing international in Europe, like WSK and so in karting, and actually I think probably winning the WSK Final Cup in my first international year was, I guess, the moment that I was like, okay, yeah, this is.
You're like, I'm actually kind of.
I'm actually not bad.
You have already had so many cool accomplishments in your career so far, and this year you are really fighting at the front for the championship. You are sitting third, and probably would be even closer if not for some technical difficulties as well.
Yeah.
How much of your year in F1 Academy last year to this year did you have to really change and take new preparations for?
I mean, of course, change team, which you have to learn the people, you have to know your engineer well and so on, but that worked out pretty quickly during testing, and I found the click straight away with the team, which is always important. And then, of course, everything I learned last year, I take on to this year. The new tracks and so on are not as many new tracks, so that gives me an advantage. Mm-hmm. And just everything around the championship, I know better how it works, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm more relaxed.
Do you feel like there was any big takeaways that you learned on track being in F1 Academy for the first year that have made you a better racer?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference for me, is racing with F1. The F1 weekends are so different. We only get FP1 or maybe FP2. And also the grip changes so much from our first session to qualifying, because as soon as F1 drives, the track is like a whole new track.
Right.
So adapting to that and being sure to adapt within one lap was something I learned last year, definitely.
That's quite a different experience than you would have in another F4 series as well.
Yeah, F4 or FRECA, which I did. You have FP1, FP2, maybe even more on the Thursday.
Yeah.
And the track, okay, it evolves, but much slower, much more gradual than here when you have F1.
So you guys are really dealing with quite a different evolution in terms of like a much more significant series.
It's a huge evolution usually. Yeah.
For you also, like you mentioned, you're driving Ferrari this year, and also you are in the Ferrari Driver Academy, and you're also the first woman to ever be in the Ferrari Driver Academy. How have you felt being a part of that team? It's an iconic team to be a part of.
I mean, of course, wearing red. I mean, the first time I wore the shirt, I was having goosebumps straight away. Yeah. It's just something so iconic, as you said, and really special. It's a dream come true. It was definitely a dream come true when I joined the academy, and yeah, I've learned so much since I joined with so many people that have so much experience in motorsport. Your progress is just so much quicker, and it's been great.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, I think when I saw you get announced as part of the Driver Academy, it was, I think, a really big moment where people started to watch what you're doing, really started to pay attention to your career. Did you feel any bigger pressure at that moment?
I think in racing, since you're small, you always have pressure from something. There's always something new that gives you pressure or extra pressure. But yeah, in the end, as long as we don't win, we're not happy, no matter what the pressure around us is. So of course it gives you pressure, but it's always going to be there no matter which situation we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, you've had already, like, you're in a lot of pressure, you've gone through a lot of moments so far. Do you have a favorite moment in your career so far?
I think there's quite a few, you know. I mean, since I'm 7 years old, it's quite a while that I've been racing. Yeah. But definitely winning the WSK Final Cup was huge. Being I had to go around the paddock to get tires to be able to drive myself and sell them to pay my entry.
Yeah.
So it was really so great to win that as a small team with my dad and my mechanic and so on. And of course, joining Ferrari Driver Academy was huge. And then the first win in Abu Dhabi last year was great. Also, the win in Jeddah felt really good. So yeah, there's many.
Yeah, it's amazing to listen to you say that just in such a short period of time and kind of condense something.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is like to start your career and like the really big moment that you have here, you are physically running around selling tires, trying to pay for your entry.
Yeah,
a very small team, and that's the kind of work you're putting in.
I mean, it's crazy when now we're here, you know.
Yeah.
We're sleeping in hotels and everything feels so luxury, and we can still complain about small stuff.
Right.
As a small kid, when I was in karting, we were always in probably the worst Airbnbs you can find ever around Italy and around the world. And then, as I said, going around when I was 10, 11, finding tires to sell them around and be able to race was something that keeps you grounded. And when then it works out, it's so much more fulfilling. And that's still the same, you know. The harder you work, the more happy you are when it works out, and I think that's something that I've kept until now.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wish people knew about F1 Academy as a whole?
I think it's a really super championship. It's as any championship, there's always its own challenges, new tracks, new places. Not a lot of track time, or a lot of track time, but you have to deliver very quickly because you have to adapt so quickly in a sense. The grid is very close always, and it's just super cool to be racing around F1 and inspire also so many young girls, because since I started karting to now, you just see how much more involvement with women in motorsport there is, and it's just really amazing.
Yeah, and this is really one of the tracks where there are the most F1 Academy fans.
Yeah, Dutch fans are good. Home race.
Are you excited to like sign autographs, be around the team, like your home crowd, and really kind of actually get to see the girls that you're inspiring?
It's super cool. I mean, of course, it's really difficult for me to imagine that, but I remember when I was 8, 9 years old, and there was, I don't know if you know Marta Garcia, Betske Visser.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were my inspiration because they were winning races in Spain and international karting, and for me to have those role models was really important when I was little. So I can imagine that all of us here are inspiring so many young girls, and that's really cool to see, and especially here at Zandvoort. But we've had so many races. Shanghai was great with the fans, and actually every race was packed with fans, and I think here is probably the craziest one. But it's super cool to see, and already on Wednesday morning when I walked in, there's people at the gate asking for pictures, and it's just super cool.
So cool.
Yeah,
it's been really cool to watch you guys grow. I started watching the series the first year, and I was at the race in Texas. And now watching the crowds, just like Miami was they needed
Miami
people to
was
push
crazy.
people back. It's very, very cool.
Sure, Miami is always insane.
Yeah. Do you feel like you said, it's like a little difficult to recognize it, but do you really feel the impact of what you guys are doing every weekend here?
I think the way I see the impact is when I go back to the karting paddocks. It's so many more girls than when I started karting. When I started karting and I walk around the paddock, I probably have to walk 2 hours until I find another woman or girl racing, you know?
Yeah.
And now when I go back every 500 meters, I see a girl. And it's great to see, and it makes me smile, you know? So it's definitely making a difference, and for sure, the more we push, the more it will make a difference.
That's amazing. What's the best piece of advice you've been given in your career so far?
Ooh, the best piece of advice. Well, I think it's a bit from my grandma maybe, or my dad. They say, willen is kunnen. If you want something, you can do it. Just have to work hard for it, and everything is possible.
It's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, if you could give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Yeah, I think I know very well. No, I would tell myself to just don't care too much about what other people think of you or what maybe they think of you. Just focus on myself more and do my own thing without really feeling judged about what other people might think. Because of course we have to make mistakes and we learn from it, but we can't be perfect and please everyone. So I think that's something I would tell myself.
That's smart. Yeah, keep your head down and focus on yourself. That's great. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thank you.
Great.
It was fun conversation, so I liked it.
Amazing. Well, I'd love to hear that.